At 6:47 this evening, Senator Joni Ernst walked into a high school gymnasium in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, for what was scheduled as a routine town hall with 340 constituents. By 7:23 p.m., 36 minutes later, she walked out through a side exit while protesters chanted, "Primary her" and "Traitor," loud enough to be heard 3 blocks away. Video of her departure is already viral with 2.3 million views. The town hall was not routine. It was a disaster. And within 2 hours of that disaster, 9 Republican senators announced they would not seek re-election in 2026. 9, including Mitch McConnell. Subscribe to this channel immediately because what I am about to walk you through is not a normal election cycle shift. This is the Republican Party fracturing in real time. This is 9 senators deciding they would rather retire than face voters angry about impeachment votes. And this is the 2026 Senate map exploding in a way that could hand Democrats a supermajority. Turn on notifications. Set them to all because the Ernst Town Hall that ended 94 minutes ago has triggered the largest single-day Senate retirement announcement in modern American history. And the question now is whether the Republican Party can hold together long enough to contest the midterms or whether we are watching a political collapse. Here is what happened inside that gymnasium in Cedar Rapids. At 6:47 p.m., Ernst entered to scattered applause and immediate booing. Roughly half the crowd supported her, half did not. The split was visible. Supporters wore red Ernst campaign shirts from 2020. Protesters held handmade signs reading "Impeachment, Betrayal," and "Remember Your Oath to Trump." She began with prepared remarks about Iowa agriculture policy. At 6:52 p.m., she opened the floor to questions. The first question came from a man who identified himself as a retired Marine. Quote, "Senator, you voted to convict the president. You voted to remove him from office. Why did you betray the 74 million Americans who elected him?" Ernst responded that she voted her conscience based on the evidence that the president defied the Supreme Court. The crowd erupted, boos, cheers, shouting. A woman in the front row stood and screamed, "You're finished." It took 3 minutes to restore order. At 6:59 p.m., a woman asked why Ernst prioritized the Washington establishment over Iowa voters. Ernst stated she took an oath to the Constitution, not to any individual. More shouting, someone yelled, "Liar," from the third row. At 7:04 p.m., a man stood and yelled that Ernst would be primaried and defeated. Ernst replied that she welcomed a primary challenge and would defend her record. The crowd descended into chaos. Multiple people were on their feet screaming. Security moved toward the stage. At 7:11 p.m., protesters in the back began chanting, "Recall Ernst." At 7:16 p.m., security informed Ernst the event was becoming unsafe. At 7:23 p.m., she left through a side door. The town hall lasted 36 minutes. It was supposed to run 90. Hit that like button right now if you understand what just happened. A sitting Republican senator was driven out of a town hall by her own voters because she voted to convict the president. The algorithm decides what breaks through. You decide whether this analysis reaches people who need to see it. At 8:47 p.m., 2 hours and 24 minutes after Ernst left that gymnasium, Mitch McConnell issued a statement. Quote, "After 42 years in the United States Senate, I have decided not to seek re-election in 2026. I am proud of my service to Kentucky and to the nation. But the political environment has become untenable for governing. I will serve out my term and then retire." McConnell is 84 years old. He has been Senate Republican leader since 2007. He has served Kentucky since 1985. He survived polio as a child, built a career on institutional knowledge, and became the longest-serving Senate Republican leader in history. He voted to convict the president on February 18th. He is one of the 17 Republicans who provided the margin for removal, and now he is done. Within 30 minutes of McConnell's announcement, 8 more Republican senators announced retirement. At 8:54 p.m., Romney. At 9:02 p.m., Murkowski. At 9:07 p.m., Collins. The announcements came in rapid succession, each statement nearly identical in tone. Quote from Collins, "I can no longer serve effectively in this environment." Quote from Murkowski, "The threats to my family have become intolerable." At 9:14 p.m., Cassidy announced. At 9:18 p.m., Burr moved up his already planned retirement date by 6 months, stating he wanted to leave before the 2026 campaign began. At 9:23 p.m., Toomey. At 9:27 p.m., Portman. At 9:31 p.m., Capito. And at 9:34 p.m., 3 hours and 11 minutes after she fled that Cedar Rapids gymnasium, Joni Ernst released a statement. Quote, "Serving Iowa has been the honor of my life, but I will not subject my family to another campaign in this climate." 9 senators, all Republicans, all announced retirement in a 47-minute window. 7 of the 9 voted to convict the president. The other 2, Portman and Capito, voted to acquit but faced primary challenges anyway for criticizing the president's emergency powers claim. Drop a comment right now. Tell me if you think these retirements are about age and exhaustion or about fear of primary defeats. I am reading every response because this question determines whether 2026 is a normal election or a realignment. Let me show you the math, because the numbers reveal how catastrophic this is for Republicans. The Senate has 100 seats. Currently, Democrats hold 51. Republicans hold 49. In 2026, 34 seats are up for election. 20 of those are Republican seats. 14 are Democratic seats. Before tonight, Republicans were defending 20 seats with all 20 incumbents running for re-election. The map favored Republicans heavily. They were likely to hold all 20 and potentially flip 2 Democratic seats in Montana and West Virginia. That would give Republicans 51 seats, a majority, and control of the Senate agenda. But now 9 of those 20 Republican seats are open: Utah, Alaska, Maine, Louisiana, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Iowa, and Kentucky. 9 open seats means 9 primaries where Trump-aligned candidates will likely win and then face general elections in states where moderate Republicans just retired because they could not win. The vulnerability is clear. Maine went for Biden by 9 points, Pennsylvania by 1 point. Alaska and Ohio are swing states. If hard-right primary winners emerge, Democrats gain instant advantages. Let me run the scenarios. If Democrats win even 4 of those 9 open seats, they go from 51 to 55. If they win 6, they go to 57. If they sweep 7 or 8, they approach 60. A 60-seat Democratic majority is a supermajority that can overcome filibusters on most legislation. That has not existed since 2009. The most likely pickups are Maine, Pennsylvania, and Alaska, where Biden won or came close. North Carolina and Ohio are competitive. Iowa could flip if Trump's candidate is weak. That is 6 potential Democratic gains right there. Subscribe to this channel right now if you have not already, because what I am about to show you is the 6 indicators that will determine whether Democrats actually achieve a supermajority or whether Republicans can hold the line. Indicator 1, who wins the Republican primaries in these 9 open seats. If moderate candidates win, Republicans have a chance in the general. If Trump-aligned candidates win, Democrats gain an advantage in states like Maine, Alaska, and Pennsylvania, where voters rejected Trump. Indicator 2, does Trump campaign for Republican candidates or against them? If he endorses and rallies for primary winners, it energizes his base but alienates independents. If he attacks Republican nominees who are not loyal enough, it fractures the party further. Indicator 3, do any additional Republican senators retire? 9 retired tonight. If more follow, the map becomes undefendable. Senators like Roger Marshall of Kansas, Todd Young of Indiana, and John Thune of South Dakota all face potential primary challenges. If any of them decide the fight is not worth it, Republicans lose even more ground. Indicator 4, how do voters in swing states react to the impeachment and removal? If they view Senate Republicans who voted to convict as heroes, it helps Democrats. If they view them as traitors, it helps Republicans in primaries but hurts in generals. Indicator 5, does the new president governing effectively? If the administration demonstrates competence, it provides coattails for Democratic Senate candidates. If not, Republicans can run against failure. Indicator 6, do any major national events shift the political environment between now and November 2026? A recession, a foreign crisis, a Supreme Court ruling, anything could change the trajectory. Here are the 3 scenarios. Scenario 1, Republican collapse. Trump-aligned candidates win all 9 primaries. They are too extreme for general election voters. Democrats flip 7 of the 9 seats. Combined with holds in Montana and West Virginia, Democrats reach 58 or 59 seats. They are 1 seat short of a filibuster-proof supermajority, but control the Senate decisively for the next 4 years. They can confirm judges, pass budget reconciliation, and block Republican obstruction. This is the Democratic wave scenario. Scenario 2, Republican stabilization. Moderate candidates win some of the 9 primaries. Republicans hold 5 or 6 of the 9 open seats. Democrats net 2 or 3 seats, reaching 53 or 54. The Senate remains closely divided. Republicans can still filibuster most legislation. Neither party has decisive control. Gridlock continues. This is the status quo scenario. Scenario 3, Republican recovery. Voters blame Democrats for the constitutional crisis. Trump campaigns effectively for Republican candidates. Republicans hold 8 of the 9 open seats and flip Montana and West Virginia. Republicans regain the majority with 51 or 52 seats. This is the backlash scenario where impeachment and removal hurt Democrats politically. Subscribe right now, like this video, comment with your prediction which scenario happens. I am tracking all 3, and over the next 20 months, you will see the analysis here. Let me show you the historical parallel, because this has happened before, but not like this. In 1974, after Watergate and Nixon's resignation, 43 House Republicans retired rather than face voters angry about the cover-up. In the midterms that November, Democrats gained 49 House seats. In 2010, after Obamacare passed, 19 House Democrats retired. Republicans gained 63 seats. In 2018, after Trump's first 2 years, 34 House Republicans retired. Democrats gained 41 seats, but those were House retirements. Senate retirements are rarer because senators serve 6-year terms and have more job security. The largest single-cycle Senate retirement wave in modern history was 1996, when 13 senators retired. Tonight, 9 senators announced retirement in 47 minutes. If any additional senators follow, 2026 could exceed 1996. And the difference is that in 1996, retirements were bipartisan and age-related. Senators left on their own terms. Tonight, all 9 are Republicans and 7 voted to convict the president. They are leaving because they cannot win re-election in their own party. What I know for certain right now, at 6:47 p.m., Joni Ernst walked into a town hall in Cedar Rapids. At 7:23 p.m., she was driven out by protesters. At 8:47 p.m., Mitch McConnell announced retirement after 42 years. By 9:34 p.m., 9 Republican senators had announced they will not seek re-election in 2026. The 2026 Senate map has been transformed in under 3 hours. Republicans are now defending 9 open seats in addition to 11 seats with incumbents running. Democrats are defending 14 seats, most in safe states. The math favors Democrats. The question is whether they can execute. And the answer depends on primaries, on Trump's role, on the new president's performance, on the economy, on events we cannot predict. But what is certain is that the Republican Party is fracturing. 7 senators voted to remove the president and then decided they could not face their own voters. 2 more senators criticized the president and faced the same choice. All 9 chose retirement over re-election. That is not normal political turnover. That is a party in crisis. And the consequences will unfold over 20 months, culminating in an election that could produce a Democratic supermajority or a Republican recovery, depending on whether voters blame Republicans for defending the Constitution or blame Democrats for removing a president. Stay with this channel. Turn on notifications. When primaries occur, when candidates emerge, when polls shift, you will see the analysis here immediately. This is not over. This is 9 senators deciding the political cost of constitutional duty is too high, and the 2026 election will determine whether they were right.